Welcome back to our regularly scheduled dojos. Been a little crazy here for the past 2 days. We got a good little mix of people here. I'm doing a little AEP recap too of how was it. So thank you for watching here. If you're a new agent, we're going to go over some of our own experiences here that you are going to experience yourself. Also, we're going to have some insights too. So thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Frank. Victoria, how was your AEP?
It was great. It was great. We were moving and shaking the whole time. I think we
just keep going.
we had our. What I noticed is we had our very super on the ball clients that would call about a week before AEP. We want to get stuff set up, ready to go. That was really nice. We had to rush people at the very beginning of AEP. I feel like for new clients, there was a little bit of a lull, comparatively speaking, for an AEP, and then probably the last few weeks it was just nuts. And of course, that very last week was insane. It was super hard to handle, but it was great. I thought it was overall very good.
What'd you learn during it? Did you learn something new? That's what I'm trying to get at here. Something positive, something new.
I would say I learned, just how to be more efficient. I think that's something I learn every AEP. Another way to be more efficient with applications and, basically micromanaging the drug plans, saying, hey, look, this is my reserve day for drug plans, to not let it affect my other sales. And that seems to help quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Brad? Something new that you learned, or a new skill that you picked up?
Well, I have to go along with, Victoria. It's a new process mentally. Your brain has to adjust once you get into it. A lot of multitasking. You have to learn how to do a few things at once and try to keep up with things. For me, I'm primarily just handling my clientele. I've got so many thousands of clients. They all like to touch base, which is great. Mm-hmm. Gives me an opportunity to re-cement my relationship with the client. When I get them on the phone, I spend as much time as they want, but it's difficult to try to juggle so many things at once and not make mistakes. Mm-hmm. So it comes down to just refining your skills and making sure that you pay attention. Don't shortcut anything, double check your applications, because it's the time of the year when a lot of mistakes get made. We get a lot of declines because the underwriting kind of slides through. People want to save money, but you just have to do your job and try to get everything done. I was kind of shocked this year. I was actually able to call everybody back and get it done. And, some people wanted to chat a long time. Some people just wanted to get it done quickly, which I appreciated. But yeah, and that was it. I got very good at writing drug plans, very good at it. And so, that's the bulk of it. To me, it's mainly it's a customer service thing that time of the year. And of course, I get a lot of referrals too. And that's the thing we always try to push. You help somebody, you're going to generate referrals, even if you don't get anything out of the sale immediately. Get a lot of the back.
So that's exactly what I was going to touch on today here with my own little story from AEP. Thing that I learned here, it's not drug plans, or it's your self-worth. There's a whole lot to think about when you do this job. And it's a whole lot to base your reputation on. Just take, for example, if the lovely Judy is watching today. Hello, Judy. I'm going to call you here in a few hours. Judy watches our dojos.
Oh, yes, that's the one that said, Frank's okay, but I really want to talk to Jacob.
No, she said strictly Jacob.
Strictly Jacob,
yeah. Only the
I
handsome.
didn't even mention you by name.
Handsome man. But it's a really cool story. So, and I went immediately after that, if we talked, went and told Buckley, and even Buckley was super stoked about it too. Because with the dojos, she was more talking about my character. When I first got on with her, she was like, look, I'm turning 65 here soon. I already have A and B, but I don't have anything else. I need to know what I want. I need to see what I can get, everything like that. So for the past 2 weeks, me and Judy have been talking. We've probably racked up almost 7 hours worth of talk time. between each other. Guess how many policies I have helped Judy enroll in?
0.
0. Why? Because I still led her to the correct path. She wanted a high deductible plan. Our contracts weren't ready for it yet. So I told her, I'm not going to write you one that's $30 more expensive just because I can write that one. I can't write this one. Okay. And the same thing went to Medicare.gov for her drug plan too. Because we looked at the silver script non-commissionable and went over with that. And from the very beginning, I could really tell that me and Judy were going to get along because she was asking me stuff that, a lot of people don't ask, like commissions. She goes, how much do you get paid on this? And I go, well, right now, 0, because you haven't bought anything. Which was a good thing. Thank you, Bucket. That was a good joke. I appreciate it. She's asking me about commissions, and then she was asking me about, all social. I told her, I was like, look, I'll be as transparent with you as I am with everybody else. Okay, if you have a question, you just ask me. But from that, it's grown to this, really good relationship between both of us, where I couldn't help her with her supplement, couldn't help her with her drug plan. Now we have to call Cigna today because we have a very specific question about their policy. But all in that, I look back on it. There's agents that are out here, and you could be an agent that is now starting new. And this is how you want to kind of set your cornerstone here. You get some of these other agents out here, they say 7 hours and you didn't sell them anything. That's a waste of time. It's not a waste of time at all.
You want to know how many policies did you do this AEP alone?
203.
Yeah. So I dare a lot of agents out there to go, oh, you're wasting time, when they probably haven't done 203 policies within a 45-day period.
Yeah.
And even if they did, they won't stick.
No, they won't.
And they'll never call them back.
Mm-hmm.
The
But
majority of those are subs, aren't they?
Yeah, that's why we're positive, and it's a lot of referrals here too. So for me, it was more of a kind of a reflection into, okay, what is my time worth to me? Instead of, okay, I only want to take 15 minutes of your time. Say, Christopher, my right-hand man over here, he's seen the good, the bad, and he's seen me get ugly. He saw me get ugly yesterday. He did. Something that he's never seen before, and he even went, damn. Because we had somebody call in, and we're trying to help him, and the deadline's there. She goes, all right, I want to think about it. And I just flat up go, you have 13 hours to think about it. Now is not the time to think about it. You either sign it and do it, or you don't.
Well, you said if
And even
you
he was
call me
like,
back,
damn, yeah.
if you call me back, I'm likely not going to be available.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was
Time to
like,
think
look,
is over.
this is the
No.
last day of AEP. She goes, well, I called on Monday. And I go, okay, that's the last week of AEP.
Mm-hmm.
And if we haven't gotten back to you by Monday, how long do you think our list is here? I have other people that have been waiting. I can't play this back and forth, go between you. I'm not going to offer you something that is not going to
Here's
work.
your lifeline. You screwed up already by waiting too long. This is it.
Exactly. And so it came down to it, and it was like exactly what Christopher said. That was my self-worth that I learned, that to go, okay, look, I've already talked to you for 30 minutes. Okay. You just keep going back and forth. You want to be combative. You want to be argumentative. Look, we have 13 hours till this thing ends, and there is no time to think about it.
Right. AEP is not the time to think about it. And if you don't realize that,
And by the way, you don't have 13 hours because I'm not staying till midnight.
That's
Right.
that's what I said too. Then Christopher laughed when I said it, but I told him, I was like, look, you can hang up and think about it, but 99% chance you're not going to get in touch with us again
mm-hmm.
today. So either we can do it while you got me, or we won't do it at all.
And it went through.
And immediately her husband was like, all right, do it. That was all it needed.
Okay.
So
It's simple math.
that's what
There's
I
just
learned.
not
Yeah.
enough agents in the country to be playing that game, comparative to how many seniors there are Medicare recipients. There's just
Mhm.
no time to
Yeah.
think with
Mhm.
anybody. That's not just us. It's a fact.
By the
You
way,
have to make a
half the
decision.
people wait until like the last week or two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's still 25 million people out of the 54 million. That's still 27 million people out of the 54 million people on Medicare.
Mhm.
How many agents are there? Like if you took all the insurance agents in the country, including PNC and all the other stuff, there's only like 1 million agents.
And
1.3 million.
what small, tiny percentage of that are
Right.
quality agents?
Right. So you want to go ahead and let's say we're going to extended hours. Everyone's working 12 hours a day. 5 or 6 days a week. You don't have that many
That wouldn't
hours.
be enough.
I'm surprised that lady wasn't happy that she got 30 minutes. I mean, we don't ever get off the phone with anyone, but have some perspective here. It's incredibly valuable what we do, and there's not enough of us. There's really not enough of us.
And that was what I was trying to teach you by doing that too, is, you have to know how much your time is worth. You have to know your self-worth, but also your value. These are current clients that I've helped before, and I've had to tell them, look, I didn't steer you wrong with your old plans. You got to put this trust in me. This is what you need to do. There is no time to think about this. And they go, you know what, you're right. That is right. Let's do it. But it's that value of seeing yourself, and we kind of went over that today with some of our agent training this morning. You have to be confident in yourself to approach every situation, or else they can tell.
Mm-hmm.
They know if you're a little shaky, they know if something's up, but really having that confidence in yourself, knowing, okay, I'm going to help this person. You have to exude that, because if not, if you try to sell somebody a plan G, you're like, well, it's kind of good. It's all right. It's okay. No, they're going to look right through you. You don't have the self-worth and the confidence there to start. So that was a big eye opener for me. And I was telling people too, and they're like, do you want me to, even when we were talking about their supplements, it doesn't matter this time of year per se, but I get people that are, hey, can we do it? I can call you back if you're busy. It's okay. And I go, no, we're getting it done now.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have an answer. I love the one that I'm with. So for right now, it's just you and me. Other people can wait. I don't care about them because I'm not on the phone with them. And I don't want to push this through to, okay, can we see if we can do it next week or 2 weeks from now? Because then what happens? Then we got to get some physical therapy, or we eat a little bit too much ham on Christmas and get a little full and roll our ankle or break our ankle, and we just happen to have osteoporosis. No, it's present time. Let's get it done.
Yeah, not only that, what happens? You have them on the phone and you have to call them back, or they say, yeah, call me back tomorrow. We all know what happens. It goes to voicemail. So and you get into a phone tag situation. We don't have time for that. When you get them on the phone, that's why even though I had 20 people to call back, I would always take the person that called in, because they were on the phone there. Instead of me calling somebody back and going to voicemail, get it taken care of while they're on the phone. And, can always go back and call the other people. And they realize this time of year, we are stacked up. It's going to take some while to get everything put together for them. It's not going to happen immediately, but that's so important. You got to do it while they're on the phone. Just get it done. Whatever it takes.
A lot of it is how you view yourself, right? So a lot of people, there's usually two big different types of people that get into sales or get into assisting people. And a lot of them can be people that are highly neurotic that seek approval. A lot of them really do want to genuinely help people and have a good bearing of themselves. But the problem is that I respect all my customers. I love all my customers. I love all you guys. I give my time, and that's what I do. But at the same time, I demand respect, the same amount of respect that I give. So I'm there for you. I will not lie to you. I will not lead you wrong. I'll do my best for you. I want that back. And I'm not going to mess with you if you don't give it. I got other people that need my attention. I got other people that need my care, and they will give me that. So if you don't respect me, I'm not going to engage in you. And it takes a long time for people to get used to being able to say that and set that standard, because if you don't have that standard for yourself, then you don't think well of yourself. If you don't think well of yourself, other people are not going to think well of you. They're not going to trust or believe you. So people need to really start taking an inventory and beefing up on their own knowledge and get better at what they do, so they can actually understand and believe that to be true, so they can start saying, hey, no, we are going to do this the right way.
Yeah, it's just a matter of distinguishing, let the people know who we are, what we do. I mean, we are licensed agents. You go to see a doctor, what do? You sit in the lobby for 45 minutes and you might get 5 or 10 minutes with the guy and you're happy about it. Same thing with a lawyer, who's going to charge you by the minute. I mean,
they roll it up to the hour.
These are professional people. We're professional people. We've spent a lot of time learning our craft. And a lot of it's trial and error because the information just isn't out there. So You're absolutely right. I mean, we deserve the respect, and
But you don't deserve it unless you think you know you
well,
deserve it.
yeah, I mean, you need to, yeah, I mean, you can't be phony about it.
Mm.
But, you know, a lot of people get the mindset, I'm talking to another salesman.
Mhm.
Okay, they're just going to try to sell me. I'm talking to a clerk. They're just trying to sell me something. That's not who we are. You know, we're not salespeople. We're agents. You know, and especially here, I mean, we develop the relationships with the clients, and we call them back. Try to call everybody on their birthday, effective date of their policy, and so on. Keep an eye on the premiums. You know, a lot of other agents don't do that sort of thing, but we do it here, and it pays off.
Yeah. Now let's hear from the first timer over here.
Yes.
First time,
Sure.
long time. What is one cool thing you learned during AP? It could be psychological, like we're talking about. It could be something within Medicare itself. Give me something cool from a first timer.
Yeah, certainly. So, as far as the way that we do business here, I think that's really huge, and that's been essentially since I came to this organization. But just to be genuine, and then to establish the trust, and to have people understand that that you're genuinely interested in helping them. That's your goal. And like, you know, other folks have said, this is not just some other salesperson. And so certain responses that I was, you know, surprised to hear, but like I was pleased to hear. It's just like, say, for example, you say, oh, you're just trying to sell me something. And Jacob would say, no, I'm not. No. Because like if you're genuinely in the best situation you can be as regards to your healthcare, then we're happy to know that, because, right? So then I don't, you also say like, I don't want to have to sell you something, right? And then I've heard Victoria say, if whatever the best situation for you is out there, we're going to find it. We're going to find out what it is. And then, you know, go through a process of demonstrating why this is in your best interest to do so. And I don't know, there's been countless times where I've been listening to one of the agents here, and they would have had an opportunity to sell something to somebody that they didn't need and didn't want, you know, but they would never do that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And as far as the repeat business, for example, and also referrals, it's just a way of doing business that it has so many aspects of working. It's a win-win for everybody, right? You know what I mean? As far as referrals, repeat business, also establishing trust with the customer, and also, you know, knowing that their time is valuable, your time is valuable too, right?
So let me ask you this here. Give me the one person or the one situation that you are most proud of in yourself for helping.
There's a number of them, but you remember the Mountain Man?
That's like your best friend, man.
He invited me to the, he was a guy who knew John Wayne, right? He was in a movie with John Wayne when he was a little kid. And he was in a number of films, like some of them fairly famous. And so he's like a cowboy guy, mountain man. And he invited me to the roundup, which is, you know, but anyway, what's that?
The rattlesnake roundup?
I don't really, well, I'd have to look at my notes, but yeah, I mean, it's a big deal for historical reenactment type people.
I think you tried to get a hold of that guy like 15 times.
Yeah.
And he would always push you off until
he
tomorrow.
lives in the boonies, so that's also one that you have to look around to see, you know, how it is that you can help them, because if they live in the boonies, that's a whole nother circumstance to living in a metropolitan area, right? And so, but we did help him, and he was happy about it.
I remember that too, because with him, that was when I taught you about the word risk and exposure.
Right.
For him, because his advantage plan that he had, everybody was a network, but it's 8 and 13 versus we changed it to 4 and 6 for it, and he wasn't using it. So that was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, if I can give the
yeah.
perspective of a new agent,
Mike. He's a new agent. I'm his mentor, and I'm extremely proud of him. One observation that he had that he felt was a big learning experience, which was the sheer amount of poor advice that these people are given by other agents and how wrong that they've been done. And probably half of the stuff he was doing is fixing either just poor guidance from other agents, or when it's super obvious someone was sold the worst possible product because it cost the most. You know what? I think he knew that there was stuff that happened out there, but just the amount of that we got to, I take it as a privilege to fix and to undo that and set them back on the path. He just couldn't believe that, and he got to see it for himself. But he found a lot of great pleasure in helping right a wrong and re-educate these people and do right by them and make them feel so much better.
So I keep hearing, and maybe this is weird of me. Remember, we were over at Jekyll, right? And with when Reedy was still with us, and I telling him about this stuff because we had that little bit of a debate there, and you were part of it. Years ago, when I got into I went from business to business, and I came into business to consumer, which is here, right? There was one thing that always kind of grated me about our field and what we do as a career, and how we are looked at as salespeople. I've never looked at myself as a salesperson. I don't look at what I do as sales, right? When people say, oh, they got opportunity to sell people, I don't do that. I facilitate solutions to problems people have now, and they're going to have problems in the future. So I fix those things. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a fixer. If I'm not selling stuff and I'm trying to fix stuff, then I don't have to put up crap. And I can be honest and forthright, and I can really show the people I care about. That's my mental attitude for it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to fix something. What do you have a problem with? Let's fix it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that works for everybody, but it's done damn well for me over the years. Mm-hmm.
I forget that I'm in sales when somebody asks, oh, you ever done sales before? I said, no. I'm saying, oh, yes, yeah, I do. I look at myself as an educator.
Yeah, that's what other people call it.
I forget that I've been in sales for many, many years. Because I don't look at it that way. Yes, I can sell you something if that's needed, but I'm here to educate you and to put you on track and protect you. That's what my primary function is.
I'll one-up you here. You ever forget about a product?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was helping a lady where this was one lady I think you and me went back with. We had like 2 or 3 conversations, but it was a lady who had a supplemental plan, but she wanted to go to a Advantage plan. She's very healthy, but we were kind of going through everything that gave her like $20,000 worth of dental too. Okay, that looks good to me. But I was going through it with her, and I was like, all right, look, this is 0, this is 40. And then it goes down to the hospital, and I go, yeah, so it looks like you got to pay $300 for the first 7 days in the hospital. She's like, that seems a little high. And I go, yeah, I wish they made something for that. And I kept going, and then I go,
hospital and
crap, they do make something for that. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I stopped, and I was like, hey, let me look at this real quick. It was like $33 a month for it. And then she was like, I am so glad you thought of that. Yeah. And I'm like, well, after the fact I did. Mm-hmm. But that cracked me up. That was one of my moments that made me laugh, where because we were just going through the policy details with her, making sure that she knows everything, and then it was not a scheme. It was not anything to psychologically do with it, where she was like, yeah, that seems like a lot for a hospital stay. And I go, yeah, it does. They should make something for that.
Yeah, because you weren't in the mindset of just trying to sell her any and everything.
I wasn't like, okay, how can I deploy this mind trick here? Yeah. I'm like Chris Angel, sales floor.
It is a mind trick though, because if you're going through it from a perspective of I'm solving problems for these people, that's when upsells become very easy, because your discovery dictates whether there's a problem that you can fill that hole. So if you go, do you have dental? Have you ever had it or you need it? And people go, yeah, I need that. Well, there you go. There's another product ad. There you go. There's another product ad. And that's not a matter of, I get to sell this, because too many times people go, we can help you with this, and I can get you this, and I can get you this. And they come in with the agenda of selling them a bunch of stuff, and they lose everything. Mm-hmm. come away with anything from the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love those. I love the guys that are, when they're doing their presentations and stuff, they're like, yeah, so I sold them a supplemental plan, a drug plan, a dental plan, a cancer plan, a final expense plan, and like plan. And I go, how many of those are they going to have next year?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not all of them. And probably 95%, not all.
Here's the thing. They'll have some of them. Persistency is important.
They'll have some. That was my point. That's what I'm saying, is that when you have to kind of approach these ancillaries and things like that, when you look at it as an agent, the ancillaries are there, and this is specifically for people that are newer and trying to learn more about the business here. Ancillaries is where you pay the bills at when you first start.
Right.
Because if you can get good at that and you can stay good at it and always continue to do it, it's just going to grow on itself.
Mm-hmm.
But you're never going to survive when you first start just doing the major medical.
I mean, you will. It just won't be.
You can't. It's not going to be.
It's the difference between making like 75, 76 the first year and 140. I mean, it's that because they're so front loaded on the
It's the
ride.
difference of going to Perry's on a weeknight
Mhm.
or going to Perry's on lunch on a Friday and getting a $15 pork chop.
Oh, heck yeah, that's my jam right
That's
there.
that's the difference there. It's
How
getting the tomahawk
you
on a
put-
weeknight or getting the $15
I can't
pork
believe you
chop.
disclosed that
How
secret on.
Dare you
Yeah,
bring up that when you know we don't eat lunch when we do this?
really.
Let's get pork chop. Well, because he had a Perry's card and it reminded me of it.
You ever get
so
lost in a
hungry.
plan, like go down a rabbit hole in a plan? Like, for example, it was easy to do. Now, with supplements, obviously, it's super straightforward, but these advantage plans, I've had it where a client said, yeah, I really like that plan, and we're kind of going over the details. What about this? What about that? And I'll see some verbiage that I've never seen before that to me is a little sus. It's a little cloudy and gray, and I'm like, what does that mean? I was like, oh, wait, hang tight. I'm the queen of tiny print. Let's dig into this tiny print here. Bear with me if you'll stay on this journey with me. Something here doesn't quite make sense. It's not very clear to me. And they're like, yeah, that doesn't, I don't understand that either. And I'll go digging in, explanation of benefits, number of benefits, and this and that. I'm like, And I've just kind of gone down this rabbit hole of just digging, figure out what this coverage on this particular aspect of this plan even means. And I'm like, they're like, oh, I appreciate it. I'm like, no, no, don't worry about it. If I don't understand it, how can I sell this to you if there's something about that I don't even understand? And I've been to the point where we've gotten on the phone with an insurance carrier because we're like, can you explain this to us? Because this sounds odd, and because, if you see something like that, you just, in good conscience, you can't sell somebody something that you yourself aren't very even sure about. You want them to feel confident.
That's a good point,
Mhm.
because there's so much on the back end, especially with dental, when you really look at the outline of coverages, because we'll get the calls all the time. I went to the dentist, they didn't pay anything. And they have all these loopholes. It's like, okay, we'll pay for 4 surgical extractions right away. Well, all extractions are surgical.
Right.
I mean, what's a non-surgical? They tie a string to your tooth and
Right.
close the door. I mean, and it's just the way they code it. So the insurance company doesn't pay for it. And these are things that need to be exposed so you don't have all this trouble on the back end and have egg on your face.
That's right.
I tell you what, we won't go into the carrier yet because they're approaching us and we haven't solidified the deal. But there's even some supplement. There's companies putting out supplement right now that even goes above and beyond the preventative care services in Medicare for a supplement. Like, you get the welcome to Medicare wellness, you get the welcome to Medicare physical, then you get wellness checks.
Mm-hmm.
However, these guys are like, no, we'll do preventative care. We'll actually do that because it saves us more money in the back end. There's a lot of good things coming out on the market.
Smart, you'll have to see more of that.
Exactly,
more
because they wanna-
proactive medicine.
They want to prevent long-term, more
Exactly.
expensive
Right.
problems.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's starting to look really bright on that. But the problem is that an agent that's in the model to sell something will be just like, bah, 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 bah. An agent that's looking to fix a problem first has to find a problem. And the problem would be, so you're worried about this, you're worried about that, you're worried about, get to those things. Just find problems to fix. I mean,
Find a need and fill it.
have you ever
Takes
felt
the
bad
cabbage.
after opening a pickle jar for your wife?
Of course not.
Right.
I have.
Yeah, no,
Because then they all disappear.
No.
We have.
They all disappear?
Guys, I kid you not. I'll go home and I'll take a picture of my kitchen area before we fly out. There is a restaurant jar of those sliced pickles,
Mhm.
like for just hamburgers that you get at Costco. Like if you're doing a hot dog,
Uh-huh.
a hot dog or a hamburger cookout. And you're like, oh, grab pickles for everybody. We've had it since the UT Oklahoma game,
Uh-huh.
and it's just on the counter. So just unscrew the lid, get a fork, scoop some out, and screw the lid back on.
Okay.
Sorry, that was just.
I'm talking
you
about
use it as an example, and I'm like, no, like I have a. This is welcome to my personal health.
No, but I'm talking about I'm talking about like, hey, I can't do this. Can you help me?
Mhm.
The feeling of actually helping and solving a problem for someone. For me personally, I know Brad. I've known you for 11 years. I know you're the same way.
12, yeah.
Yeah, 12. Yeah. So I know you're the same way, which is I get to fix a problem. I get to be of value to somebody. That makes me feel really good. I get to do something they can't do for them. That feels awesome. So people that generally kind of go to that level end up really doing well in sales because they know it's not about the product, it's about what they're doing.
That's right.
So
And Jacob, you had you had 200 sales for AEP. I had almost 100. Brad, I don't know if you counted up how many you had, but
this is your first AEP, by the way.
here, my first AEP
Yeah.
here, I think fifth AEP
Your
total.
first AEP running your
I'm not as
book.
green as that sounded to what you said.
Right.
But my point is, you could have doubled, tripled that. We all could have doubled, tripled that easily if we were in the business of just selling for the sake of selling. But you're right, helping people doesn't always mean selling them something. Sometimes helping them is telling them, you know what, don't buy anything. Don't buy anything because you don't need it. Or no, you were in the best spot. You need to stay put and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Even if it's something I didn't sell them, I'm happy to do that. I'm still helping. And guess what? We've all said this many times before. It will come back to you tenfold. You know, they'll because that's such a rare trait out there right now with agents. That I mean, if most agency heard that, they'd be like, I wouldn't hire someone who doesn't sell anything, in that way. But, sometimes that's what your job is letting them know, look, you don't need to be buying anything right now,
People expect people think you're just going to try to sell them something. When I first started in sales back in the 70s, I was a shark. I was an absolute shark. I was in industrial sales. I went out and everybody I worked with was the same way. We're all competitive and we're all sharks and we prided ourselves with that. But I found out very quickly to be a really good salesperson, you have to care about other people. Put them first. Start caring about other people instead of yourself. Get your ego out of the way. And that's the real magic, helping others. This AAP, I did so many drug plans, which I don't even sell, but I had so much, good feelings come back on the other end. I've had people, it's like, man, I love you, It's like,
Right.
I love you too, man. That's the type of relationship that's like, yeah, I've got like 4 friends, I'm going to hand them over. And they're looking for people they can trust. They're looking for people to know they care about them, and that's really, it takes a lifetime sometimes to figure that out. It's about what can you do for other people, not what you can do for yourself.
And how big of you to have admitted that you've learned that maybe that's not how you used to go into sales,
Yeah.
but you've changed your whole mindset.
It's not really my nature to be a shark.
Right.
It's kind of like, almost criminal.
Right. Well, Christopher, what did we talk about outside when you were on break? What did I say about what sales really is?
You said being a good salesperson is about being a leader.
Right. That's what it is. And leadership at its core is to build and maintain followers. So you can't do that by just telling people what to do. We're trying to sell them something. You have to actually give a shit. And that means you have to go out of your way. You have to provide for them. You have to actually take care of them. That's what a leader is. You take care of your people, just like you said. And by taking care of them, by doing that, by doing the hard thing, right, it demonstrates to them that you are the person to be with. And that they should have their friends and their family go to you too, because you protect them as well.
Piggybacking off of yours, and we'll kind of wrap it up here too. I had a referral where back in the day, if this lady called me, I would have been like, you know what, unless you're doing everything, I'm not going to help you. But She was this very, very sweet lady out of Chicago. And she had a Blue Cross Blue Shield supplement plan, and she had a Blue Cross Blue Shield drug plan that she's had since she was 65, and she was about 73, 74. So we all know how much those are costing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, went over everything, did all the discovery. When it came to it, all she really wanted was help with her drug plan. She didn't call asking for help with herself. You know, it's something that I offered to, you know, we can take a look at that too. Oh, I think I'm fine real quick, you know, and do it and say, hey, just to let you know, this plan G with Medico, it's 160, you're paying 280. So, you know, but at the end of it, you know, younger me doing this now that I'm almost 30. You know, I'm getting up there. But
I hate the fact that you just think that that's the case.
younger me would have been like pushing this lady into like, no, we have to get this done. But now that, you know, I've really kind of peeled back the onions here, and the older people get that less they want to do stuff, less they care about, you know, nobody wants to deal with bills or anything. But for her, she just wanted help with her drug plan. That was it. So what did I end up offering her? Just help with her drug plan. Because I know next time she has a question, who's she going to call? She's going to call me. And eventually that Blue Cross is going to go from her, and I'm going to get her into something else.
By the way,
Eventually.
offering that initial value, you'd be surprised how many people will go, oh, well, thank you. Well, what else can you help me with?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I am paying $273 for this plan G. Is there something better? Demonstrate the value and demonstrate the effort. Then people go, well, maybe there's something else to this.
Or they'll say,
Yeah.
oh, you know what, actually, I have a friend or something that they're so lost on this stuff. Would you be able to help them too? Heck yes, I can.
Or they go, do you do life insurance too? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reciprocity thing there. You know, when you help somebody, you know, they want to give back, and you know, not everybody wants stuff for free. There's more and more of that today, but yeah, it just comes down to being a good human.
Karma, right?
You know, yeah, I mean, what goes around comes around. You know, and I always said, take your lumps. And you know, this time of year, we got a lot of people calling back. Oh, you said that, you know, my first draft wasn't going to come out, blah blah. You have to take those calls. I've always taken the calls. Take your lumps.
Right.
They will respect you. If you blow them off, you're just one of those guys that doesn't want to care about me. You know.
Yeah. Who wants to go to work
So-
every day knowing they're gonna have to be dodging calls left and right? That's a horrible way to run your business. You know.
Right.
Yeah, you get so much less work you have to put in if you just do it right the first time.
I think what is important here, and we'll end it on this, especially for newer agents. If you're watching, if you are an agent, you know, you need to have your self-worth, self-value, confidence in yourself, all of this here. But you need to be ready for the type of agent that you want to create for yourself. You know, who do you want to be? If you want to be the guy that's putting up numbers, but their rate of how many people keep the plan is low, or do you want to be the person that's always going to be there to help people out? Like, I'll never forget the one call that you would have thought was the dumbest has led to so many referrals. I had a lady in Chicago, and this was like 2 years ago or so. And she goes, Jacob, can you help me with something real quick? And I was like, sure, what's going on? She goes, well, it's snowing. And I thought for real she was going to ask me to come over and
Shovel her
shovel
driveway.
her driveway. I really thought she was going to do it, but she goes, well, it's snowing and I like to walk, and I can't really walk when it's snowing outside. Do you know, is there a gym here that has like a walk track? Because I don't like walking on treadmills. I like walking on the actual track itself. And I go, you know, I'll say it.
Yeah,
Google.
the Bally's on
You-
Kennedy, Cumberland. I used to
you
go
know-
there myself.
but that's what I say. I go, you know what? I don't know, but we can figure out. So what did me and her do for the next hour? Because gyms, some of them do disclose it, some of them don't. I called like the YMCA. I was calling Lifetime Fitness. I was calling these other places here. And we finally found one. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Do y'all have a walking track? And they go, actually, we do. It's on the second level. And she goes, oh, I don't know if I can do the stairs. And I go, okay, I'll ask them. Is there an elevator up there? And she goes, oh yeah, there's an elevator, so you can go up. And I go, okay, perfect. How much does it cost? And she was like, It's $25 a month. And she goes, I think I have that active thing. Do you know what it is? And I was like, oh, do y'all take this, membership benefit for some of these
Renew
supplement
Active.
plans? And they did too, and it cut it in like half.
Oh.
And this whole time, we're just talking about her track. That's the type of agent I want to be. That's the type of relationship I want to have with these people. And guess what? Every time I talk to them now, we talk about that moment. And she sent so much business my way, and I'm so appreciative of her, and she's appreciative of me, that it's equal. We see each other as equal in this space.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know a secret too?
What's that?
Frank Todd, the granddaddy of all this, right?
Mhm.
Frank Todd was the kind of agent and is the kind of person that would drive an hour and a half to go to a client's house to turn on the pilot light.
Mhm.
And people would sit there and tell him, why are you doing that? You're wasting time. You could have made another sale. None of those people that would actually chastise Frank Todd for doing that thing have stayed in the business as long as he had. None of those people had made as much money as Frank Todd. And without that money and without everything else, none of this other stuff would be possible. Doing those things is not getting in the way of your business. Doing those things is your business. And it's good business. So.
All right. Well, we will end on that. So happy end of AEP, everybody. Where's everybody going? Vacations?
Shoot.
I know you're out this month. Are you out this month at all?
Probably. I don't know. I'm probably just going to go to an airport and pick something on a departure board.
I'll be going out for a rip.
Yeah.
For a rip
Merry
out there.
Christmas.
What's that song? It's like the Canadian guy with a snowmobile, and he's like, "Out for a rip, are you, bud?"
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's me.
So.
Back to Canada.
Maple Leaf bound here.
You're gonna have a
Better
good
bring
time
us
up
some
there,
syrup.
Syrup. Actually, Vermont is
Oh,
syrup
yeah,
capital.
that, yeah.
Well,
Where-
don't go choking on any poutine, okay?
Where the funny thing is with the syrup, her parents actually ship us syrup like every few months or so, and it's like $60 to ship because you have to wrap it, and then it gets all sticky and it's a whole mess. But I hope y'all had a great AEP. We will be back again here tomorrow. I won't. One of these hooligans will. So everybody, if you're a policyholder, guess what? Still call us because we're still here. We don't go anywhere. This is all we do here. We're not that exciting.
Stop it.
I like my job. Anyway.
But it's just because we love what we do. So give us a call if you're a new agent. I need a new home. If you're a lost puppy, we have a nice warm blanket for you here. So give us a shout, guys. Thanks. Have a great day.